Yes, we are live. Hello, everybody. We are live. Today is day three of the ongoing Olympics 2024, and we are having an eventful day full of ups and downs across various sports. And let's see, it's just day three. So, and we all are still celebrating the win of Manu Bhaker from yesterday. So, the energy has to, get carried forward to the next day. So, talking about today, I think one of the highlight is about Lakshya Sen, and we are here to talk about Indian shuttlers. So we have esteemed guests today. We have Mr. Shirish Nadkarni, who is a veteran badminton champion and also a sports journalist. He writes columns for reputed news portals. And we have Aparna Popat, who is a nine-time badminton national champion and also an Arjuna awardee. Welcome, Shirish. Welcome, Aparna. Welcome to the bridge.
Thank you. You must mention that Aparna is an Olympian. That is very
Yes,
important.
yes. And who better than an Olympian to talk about the badminton players today, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think the good starting point would be to talk about Lakshya, and he has been playing well and hoping the form continues. Today he won against the world number 40, the Belgian player. So Aparna, what do you have to say about Lakshya Sen at the Paris Olympics?
With Lakshya, again, the way he's been performing over the years, we did expect him to be at the Olympic Games and qualify, but also to get us a medal. And when you look at the group stage, it's a tough group for him because only one player from the group gets out and plays the knockout portion of the tournament. And though Lakshya has won both his matches in the group stage, he has one more match to go, which is going to be the toughest match, against Jonathan Christie of Indonesia. So I would think that these two matches were fairly routine and good matches for him to play to ease him into the tournament. Of course, we know one of those matches has been cancelled because his opponent, Kevin Corden, who was fourth at the previous Olympics, withdrew. But nevertheless, I think he's got enough time on court. But the next match coming up is going to be very crucial. So let's not jump the gun. Let him qualify, get out of this group, which is going to be tough, and then see him in the knockout stages from where on we hope he will proceed to get a medal.
Yeah. It's on 31st July, so let's hope for the best. Yeah, Sirish, you were saying something?
Yeah, in fact, this group was known as the group of death because there were four players in it, and there was only one other group amongst groups that had four players. Now it's been reduced to three, uh, and the match with Kevin Corden got annulled because Kevin has withdrawn because of an elbow injury. In fact, I wanted to ask Aparna, do you think that this rule of the International Olympic Association of annulling all the results of a particular withdrawn player, is it fair? Is it just? What do you think?
Well, I think it's just because everyone at the Olympics, especially considering that, there's just one player from the group that can qualify for the knockout stages. I think they all should have an even chance. And because it's a league, eventually it does boil down to, how many wins you have. So if everybody's match against Kevin Corden is annulled and cancelled, then again we are on even ground. So I think it only makes sense and reduces that much
Are you
complication.
aware of Are you aware of why this rule was introduced? I did a little bit of digging into the background. Apparently, there was one group event where there were two players from the same country in the group, and let's take an actual example. This is not uh, a true example. It's just an example to try and understand the situation. Take, for example, Yamaguchi and Nozomi Okuhara were both, because of their respective rankings, they were both in the same group. Now, Akane beat Okuhara, and Okuhara beat one other player in a group of four. Now, there was a chance that that other player who was very close, say Carolina Marin, suppose, this is just an example, had a good chance of beating Akane Yamaguchi. But Okuhara wanted Yamaguchi to advance. She faked an injury and withdrew. Now, this is not a true story, mind you. This is just an example. But because of this, you're trying to give an untoward advantage to your fellow country person. And that is why the International Olympic Federation introduced this rule whereby anybody who withdraws, all their matches, regardless of at what stage in the group, get annulled. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Aparna.
If
You
you
were
want to
saying.
ask me about Lakshya Sen, I concur with what Aparna has said. The earlier matches against Kevin Gordon and the one today against Karagi, they were relatively easy matches. The one against Jonathan Christie, who seeded number 3 and who beat Axelsen. Uh, was it? When was it? It wasn't at the Olympics because Axelsen won the last Olympics. But Christie did beat Axelsen after coming back from 10-19 down to win the last 11 points of that game. And you should have seen the shock on Axelsen's face. So he is really a tough customer. And his show against Lakshya Sen in terms of career meetings is 4-1. He's leading by 4 matches to 1 on past career meetings. So Lakshya has got his work cut out for him.
And I think the last time Lakshya beat him was in 2020. So in fact, in 2023 and 2024, Lakshya's lost to him twice each year. But the good and the positive side of that is that all those matches were lost in 3 games. So it has been close between both the players. Christie, of course, is also the All England champion, so he's done well there. But having said that, I think the kind of results Lakshya has had in terms of not winning tournaments, but beating the players in the top 10. He's done really well in the last year and a half. So that should be a positive, and he does definitely stand a chance against Christie. It's just that it'll be a tough, long match.
I agree.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, we all will be pinning our hopes, and let's see. Yeah. So, Shirish and Aparna, we have sent a strong badminton team to the Paris Olympics, right? And Prannoy, Sindhu, Satvik Chirag, and Lakshya, all of them, they have made good starts, right? While in the women's doubles yesterday, we saw how Ashwini and Tanisha, they crashed out. So Shirish, coming back to you, because you also wrote a column yesterday about it, right? So how do you think, like, this is this at par with the expectations, or you see Ashwini is an experienced player, right? So what do you think about it, about their performance yesterday?
Well, the results so far have panned out exactly according to expectations. This is in the preview that I had written, I had said that all the Indian players, barring Ashwini Ponappa and Tanisha Krasto, who were in a very tough group, all the others had a chance of progressing in their first couple of matches for sure. And that is exactly what happened. If we saw Tanisha and Ashwini yesterday against the Koreans, they were completely outclassed. I mean, they were in the game until game. After that, they lost 21-18. And in the second game, they were completely outmaneuvered and outgunned 21-10. And they have one match, I think later today, against the Japanese fourth seeds, I beg your pardon, Nami Matsuyama and Chiharu Shida. And it will take a miracle for them to pull that off. If they pull that off, there could be a 3-way tie in the group, and then you'll have a countback of games won, games lost, etc., etc. But I don't see that happening. To be honest, This badminton, even though I am a veteran, I say this very honestly, it's a young person's game. Ashwini is in the twilight of what has been a wonderful career, but she looked that half step slow yesterday against the Koreans. What do you say, Aparna?
Yeah, I think it's tough. They've had a tough few months. I think qualification for the Olympics would have been their topmost priority, which means they probably have played a lot of tournaments coming into the Olympics. And it was really close because they were contesting against, of course, Gayatri and Teresa, who were also in the line to qualify, and we knew that only one pair from India could get to the Olympics. So. Um, I think just having that sort of a run up to the Olympics, not to say that they haven't prepared well for the Olympics, but sometimes you have to prepare almost for two tournaments or two sort of goals that are very close to each other. One is qualification itself, and then the main tournament. But having said that, it's a young pairing. They've not been playing for too long with each other, and to get to the Olympics, in fact, is very commendable. Ashwini playing her third games. Tanisha, at a point didn't want to play women's doubles anymore. She was, focusing more on mixed doubles, but then to come in, find this partnership and strike form when it really, really mattered. I think kudos to them. Of course, being up, in a group with world number 4, with world number 8, it was always going to be tough. Just looking from the fact that they've not had performances at this level in the past where they've beaten top 10 players. So I think just credible that they're here. They came in with full fitness and the best form that they could come in. And we're really proud to have them represent India because, last year we didn't have last Olympics, we didn't have a women's doubles pair qualifying. So it's just good to have Indian representation in this event as well.
I might add one point that in a recent tournament, I can't recall how many months ago, maybe it was 2 or 3 months ago, they beat the Japanese much higher seeded pair of Wakana Nagahara and Patna. And that
Yeah,
was a terrific, terrific performance.
yeah.
Unfortunately, they have not been able to replicate that against the Kim and Kong, the Koreans. I wonder if they can do something wonderful against Naomi Matsuyama and Chiharu Shida tonight. I think that match is a little bit after midnight tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that's right. Actually, I echo both of yours thought, and we expected them to be better, but let's see. I mean, it's good that and you spoke about miracles, Sirish. So in sports, you never know. I mean, things happen. So
Absolutely, absolutely. You never know.
yeah, yeah.
In
So
fact, in
moving.
recent times, in badminton circles, there has been a bit of a clamor. I would put this question to Aparna that they should let Ashwini go into the twilight and pair Tanisha Crasto with Teresa Jolly. What do you think of that kind of an idea?
Well, it's an idea that can be discussed and debated. I think there are a lot of different people who have different views on it. But at this point in time, I think, just to be fair to the pair, they've been playing well together. They have a great chemistry on court, though of course there's a huge age gap of 14 years between the two players. But as long as they're comfortable playing against each other, I think the decision really lies with the players themselves. And the chatter can go on, but the decision will always remain with the players, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Young
moving.
players need not necessarily gel together, as Ashwini and Tanisha have been gelling together. That is very true.
Yeah.
Carry on, all yours.
Yeah. And especially for doubles, yeah, the temperament required is very, very different, right? So, since we're talking about doubles, what do you think of our star men's doubles player, Satvik Chirag? Do you think,
I'll let Aparna answer that first.
There's just one statement: say we're looking for gold. That's all I'll say. But yeah, I mean they're in the finest form. Watch them play a couple of matches here. They seem to have a good handle of the court conditions and of the court. Great temperament. They're very relaxed, and that's how it should be, because it's, you have to keep the right balance where you're excited enough to play, but then not get too excited and overconfident either. So it's just about being alert, being mindful, and being energetic, I think, and happy while you're playing. And I think that really came across in their match. So it's I think it's looking good. That's all I'll say. Looking positive. Again, we can sit here and expect a lot from them. And we keep on keeping our fingers crossed. But of course, it's one match at a time. This is the Olympics. The group is going to be okay, because two pairs from each group proceed to the knockout stages. What will really be key is who they come up against in the round of the knockouts. The first round, which will be the quarterfinals, the pair that they finally eventually play. I think that one match in particular will become very, very key, because then they move on to the semis, where then of course you're in contention of a medal.
Very pertinent point. Very pertinent point. It's a lot depends on the luck of the draw when the playoff stage is reached. The top 8 to 10 pairs in men's doubles in the world are virtually on one level, at the same standing, and it depends on who is better on that particular day that goes through. So yes, it is very crucial whom they meet in the quarterfinals and who they meet in the semis.
I think, Shirish, not only on that particular day, right? It's about, sometimes comes down to which pair is better for those last 2-3 points towards the end of the match. It's really that tight and that close. So it's going to be very, very interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think Sirish got stuck. So Satvik Chirag are the obvious favorites to bring a medal home, and in fact, the millennial fans of Satvik Chirag, they keep running this hashtag called hashtag Sachi. So they are like the clear favorite from the team. So. Sirish, what do you think? What do you think makes them so good, especially on big occasions?
See, they come in
Okay, there's some
in
network
the
issue.
world. He was clocked for one smash at 565 kmph, which is staggering, which is faster than any Formula One car has gone. So Satwik has a terrific smash, and Chirag is lightning at the net, in the same vein as Kevin Sanjay Sukamuljo was for Indonesia a couple of years ago. I mean, so they complement each other extremely well. Ideally, Satwik goes behind and hits the shuttle as hard as he can, while Chirag controls the pace of the game at the net, pushes into the opponent's body, and gets the openings for Satwik to finish off. Uh, I saw them playing yesterday. There was one thing I saw which I was very happy about, and that is that Satwik has traditionally had a slightly weaker defense than is required at that particular level. Their first match, he defended really well. Chirag was a little off color. In fact, he ended up on the floor at least 5 or 6 times during the match while trying to take those crouched parallel returns. But Chirag is a mercurial player, and I'm damn sure he'll get to his best levels whenever they are required. As Aparna said, there is no problem with the group because even if they lose that match, they will still be one of the top two in that group to go through to the quarterfinals. So it's who they meet in the quarterfinals that is the key to the whole puzzle.
I think
Yeah, yeah.
also, Arshi here, I think what really makes them favorites, to my mind, is one is that they've won big events, right? It's very important to be able to go into a big event and actually close it out, with a gold medal. Look at the
Yeah.
Commonwealth Games, you look at the Asian Games, you look at the Indonesian Open. Playing the Indonesian Open and winning the men's doubles is like one of the highest sort of achievements you can have in badminton, just because of the kind of following and the prowess and the domination Indonesia has had in men's doubles, and going right into their den and beating them, I think is very telling. So that is one thing, that they know how to win. The second thing is that in March of this year, they won the French Open, which was at the same venue where the Olympics is being played. So there's a sense of understanding of the conditions and a sense of comfort and confidence, as far as the environment is concerned. Um, and the third, I think that I feel is most important, is the experience from the Tokyo Olympic Games, where they actually won, two matches, but still did not proceed to the qualification rounds because of a mathematical calculation. To the knockout rounds because of a mathematical calculation. And I think that really hurt. It hurt uh, us as a nation, because they did everything right, but they still could not qualify for the knockout. And I think that learning and that sense of maturity that would have come through that experience, they will carry through to these games, and sort of be very tempered with their approach at the games, because it's not easy. It is the Olympics. The pressures are running very high. The expectations from them are very high, but I think they've found that maturity, and hence, I'm very, very confident that a medal is a must for them this time.
Yeah, for sure. The entire country is cheering for both of them. So, moving back to talking about our singles players. So, Prannoy has also high chances, but at the same time, Prannoy carrying an injury. This rumor is going around, right, in Paris. So, do you see any evidence of that? Maybe Sirish, if you can take up this question from me. And
See,
would you risk playing in the Olympics with an injury? How do you see
he
the
doesn't have
situation?
an injury. He had chikungunya. Chikungunya is a disease which causes severe pain in the joints on a long term basis. So I think it is phenomenally creditable for Prannoy to have gone through his training after having had chikungunya and then to reach this level. We could see that in the beginning of his match yesterday, he was uncomfortable. He was that
Yeah.
half step slow. I've seen him play at blinding pace, but his even his sideline smashes were going out by a couple of inches all through in the first game, and his opponent had the first game well under control before Prannoy. I think he could hear Gopi and Guru Saidat yelling from the sidelines, play the net, move him back. Both. They at different stages. They were urging him to play at the net where he was getting outplayed, and not to worry. They were telling him not to worry about getting outplayed at the net, but still keep the shuttle at the net, because that was what was creating the openings for him to hit his straps with the smash. And once he got the first game under his belt, he ran away with the second game. So he's playing well, and he managed to even stamina wise to last that first game, which was tough, was very good. And I don't think there are too many fears about his fitness at this level. But one thing you must remember, that if he goes through from his group into the round of 16, he will be meeting Lakshya Sen. So there is only one Indian that can go through to the quarterfinals. That is the most unkindest cut of all, as Shakespeare would have said.
And
Yeah.
no, I agree with what Sirish is saying in terms of the way he played yesterday. But knowing that he had chikungunya and he's coming back from an illness, I think it would be expected of him to conserve as much energy as possible and not sort of push the pace in a match where you know that you have a high chance to win. You just do the bare minimum necessary to get through the match. To score that victory, but also to do just the bare minimum to be comfortable with the court conditions and test yourself out in terms of fitness as well. So we saw him sitting in every interval that
Yes,
he got. And I think that, actually, to your question, indicates that maybe he's not at his 100%, um, and that he was looking for those, bits of rest wherever he could get them. But towards the end of the second game, he sort of found his flow, and you could see, him contacting the shuttle well and moving well, because he knew that he had to stay on court only for a few moments more. So
Yeah.
he sort of opened up and started playing. But till then, I think he was playing very measured, and pacing himself well. And I think that that's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. Optimizing the energy on court. That's very, very important. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's great. Moving on to, I think we are talking about fitness, and we have PV Sindhu. So what do you think? What are the chances? Will she be able to claim a medal hat trick? She's 29 now. This might be her last Olympics, although we don't want this to be her last Olympics, right? So what do you have to say on that, Sirish?
Ladies first. This is we are
Okay.
talking about women's singles, so I give the mic over to Aparna.
Um, so, there are two ways of looking at this, right? You look at it in terms of the form that Sindhu's brought in into these Olympics. I think after the Commonwealth Games 22, where, she carried an injury, and then, she had a lot of coach changes, almost four new coaches in the span of 12 months. And she really struggled with sort of getting, the entire team and her ecosystem together in that sense. So she lost out on time. But I think from what I've seen of her recently, and in fact, I was in Bangalore a few months ago as well, saw her practicing. She seemed very relaxed and very free and very eager to learn, and be on court. So I think that's a very positive sign. Also saw a few changes in her game that she's made because of a new setup that she's been at the Prakash Padukone Academy, and of course mentored by the legendary Prakash Padukone himself, and also Agus being her coach from Indonesia, who is also very, very strict as far as technique and stroke play is concerned. So as long as we know she's fit, which also means injury free, she's recovered completely from her injury. She's been working on her strokes and technique. I think she's in a positive frame of mind. All I can say is that she has the experience behind her to win. There are a lot of times in her career where we've not expected her, to do as well as she did just because of the form she brought into the tournament, but she's proven us wrong over and over again. Of course, 5 World Championship medals, including a gold, 2 Olympic medals already. So she knows how to play on the big stage. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. You mentioned her age, 29 years old. This is her third Olympic Games. So of course it does get different. I wouldn't say harder necessarily, but it does get very different in terms of the way you play a tournament. But if she can bring in the surprise element into these Olympics like she did in 2016, especially, when she brought in the jump smash, which was a completely, took all her opponents by surprise. Can she do something like that again? She did it at the 2019 World Championships where she won a gold. Can she do it again these Olympics? We'll just have to wait and watch. It's going to be tough. She'll get out, off the group stage easily. She's got easy matches. But after that, she's got 2 Chinese. If she wins the first, then she has another Chinese again. 2 back-to-back matches against Chinese. It'll be tough, but Sindhu's beaten the Chinese before and never lost to them on big occasions. So keep our fingers crossed.
Well, typically of how it used to be when I used to play against Aparna, as in when, of course, as a veteran, she's not left any point uncovered. There's nothing that I can add really to what Aparna has said. She's covered every point, including the one about the surprise weapon, the jump smash. I was very fortunate to see her play the 2019 World Championships in Basel. I I was on my way to Montreal. I took a halt at Frankfurt. I took a side trip to Basel, and I watched the match. I spent a fortune on a very crummy hotel, but it was all worth it because the way she played in that tournament was something unbelievable. Quarterfinals against Tai Tzu Ying, she was down. She won the third game 23-21. Very close, very, very, very close. Anybody could have won. But then semifinals, she beat Chen Yufei 21-14, 21-7, 21-14. And in the finals, Nozomi Okuhara, against whom she had lost one earlier world championship in 111 minutes, 2022 in the third game. She beat her 21-7, 21-7. And that caused Nozomi Okuhara to burst out into tears. She said, I've never played so badly before. I've never had an opponent beat me like this. So Sindhu has something special in her. She has the ability to beat even the toughest opponent on her day. The only one thing that she needs to watch is her body language. I find that her body language on the court tends to go fut pretty often, and that is something that she can do with practice. Never looks down and out. She can learn that from practice. Always looking like she's going to go ahead and she's going to go ahead and win. And if she does that, you've seen her record. She is a player who produces her best on the big occasion. And there can't be another occasion as big as this. Trying to get a hat trick of medals in the Olympics and hopefully maybe add the missing color to her collection of silver and bronze.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. On that note, we will be ending this panel discussion. And Aparna, Sirish, thank you for taking out time. And it was lovely. And I think Sirish's wordplay is amazing. I think Aparna and I cannot compete with that. What do you say, Aparna?
No, absolutely, absolutely. I'll content to compete with Shirish on the court.
She's given me a mercy point. Otherwise, it was 20 love. But it was great being with you guys and great talking about Indian badminton. I hope we can come away from Paris with a clutch of medals, at least two, if not three, in badminton.
Yeah, yeah. Aparna, what's your prediction from the badminton team?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's got to be more than one.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point to end this conversation. So at least one, two, three. Let's see what's the number that we come back with. Okay, we'll sign off. Thank you once again. Thank you, Sirish, Aparna, for speaking with us. And you can maybe tell our audience to stay tuned to the bridge, where we're trying to be prompt with the coverage and the updates as much as we can. So yeah.
Thank you. It was great being with you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.